Green light on it.
Okay. I think you heard what I said, but welcome here to Sacramento. The first order of business is Pledge of Allegiance, and usually I call on an individual to lead it, but because 22 years ago today, 9/11, our country experienced a very tragic and unfortunate incident, and we've bounced back together. So why don't we do this, our Pledge of Allegiance, all together? So we can stand up. Where's? Are we ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Would like to take a roll. Mr. Foster?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Hendrickson?
Here.
Commissioner Gurrell?
Present.
Commissioner Fiore?
Present.
Commissioner DeMars?
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Williams?
Here.
Chairman Villegas?
Here.
We have a quorum, sir, 6-0. Commissioner Wetch is absent.
Okay. Thank you. My remarks are going to be short. We've had a tremendous year. I think the sports that we oversee, the excitement, the quality has been fantastic. California continues to lead the way with the industry and the things that we have been able to do in Sacramento to support our efforts, which will be updated by Mr. Foster, have been significant. And most recently, we were again for the 9th time awarded the best commission in the country by the National North American Boxing Federation. So as we all know in sports, it's hard to get to the top and stay at the top, but we continue to do so because we're not going to be content with our performance. We're going to continue to be innovative and do the best we can for the safety and fairness of all participants representing our state. We're going to go to item number 3, which is review and possible action to approve the commission meeting minutes on June 5th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments from the public? Hearing none, can you take the vote?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Hendrickson?
Do you approve the minutes?
Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Gurrell?
I approve.
Commissioner Fiore?
Approve.
Commissioner Dr. DeMars?
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Villegas?
Aye.
6-0, sir.
Motion approved. Thank you. Item number 4, discussion and possible action on petition to change the decision for Joseph Keith versus Czar Charles bout on July 22nd, 2023 in Wheatland, California. Mr. Foster?
Mr. Chairman, we received a petition to change a decision. It was correct. I've looked at it, and you know, Mr. Keith is making the claim that he received an illegal foul, a knee to the head, and we'll watch the video. There's no doubt that there was a foul that occurred. In my view, there's no doubt that a foul occurred. I think the foul was very minimal. I don't think the foul impacted the fight in a significant way, and in the referee's defense, it was in a series of it was in a compilation of strikes that occurred. It was in a series. It wasn't in like a one singular aspect. You've read my recommendation. You've looked at it. We have the referee here if you have any questions about it, but we can proceed however you would like, sir.
Do we have the tape to review?
We do, sir. I think just the clip to start with. right here. Okay, this is the foul. You want to watch it again, Tricia? Here's the foul. Now, notice where the point of the knee hits. It was the thigh that made the incidental contact. The point of the knee, I believe, is at the chest. I believe it's right in here.
Do you have a slow motion?
Okay, watch where the point of the knee goes.
Okay.
The point of the knee, and I think it's pretty clear from the video, is not at the face. The point of the knee is at the chest area. The thigh hits the still a foul. Not supposed to really make that kind of contact. Herb Dean and I talked at length about this. But there's some debate on that issue. But as the Rules Committee people, we believe this is a foul. I don't think that it's a significant foul, like enough. This was in a series, and the fighter, the downed fighter, in my view, was losing pretty significantly up until this point as well.
What round was this?
This was the first round, wasn't it? Was first round.
Okay. Okay.
And we have the full video if you'd like to watch the full round.
Fine. The commissioners, do you need to review anything else, or you're satisfied?
I think the question.
Fighters Committee, which is a new committee that was formed. It's a whole lot of fighters that are on it, to have them review the tape. And every fighter on that committee came back with the same, and it's in your packet.
I like the last comment.
And I put their comments just as they came. I didn't make them for public comment. I just put them just as they came. And Den Thomas's comment was certainly direct.
Can I ask a question, Andy? Besides the knee to the face, what about the commentary was about the punches to the back of the head? Was that also a foul?
That was not listed, and I think those were kind of incidental type contact.
Got it.
Okay. Any other comments from my fellow commissioners? The referee, Ed, would you like to make any comments or remarks?
Yes, hi. Real quickly, my name's Ed Calantes. I was a referee that night. I did write up a write-up about it, and I'd be happy to answer any additional questions about this situation. I think that Andy's right. If, a knee to the head of a grounded opponent is a very serious foul, and a foul that will show an immediate impact on the fighter, who will collapse and go down, and that's really the purpose of that foul, to protect that from happening. Technically, the knee to the head of a grounded opponent also includes the thigh, but I felt that the power was dissipated substantially by the blow here, and you can tell by looking at the video by his left rib cage as well as his right knee going back. I felt that that was where the power went. In addition, once the blow lands, because it happens so quickly, I have to sort of wait and watch and see what happens right after. And without a concussive head blow reaction that tells me that it didn't land. And also, he was able to duck when the next blow came, which tells me that his brain was working at the time and that the blow did not land as well. So with all that information, I have to make a split-second decision to decide that that was, not significant, and the fight proceeded. Because in an MMA fight, it's controlled chaos. There's fouls throughout the fight at different levels. And we don't stop it for every single breach, but we're looking for something that has an impact on the fight and something that, definitely affects the outcome or gives the opponent an advantage over the other. So none of those happened, didn't require my referee intervention at that point. And so I didn't, I would say I had a purposeful non-call.
Very good. Thank
Yeah,
you
thank you.
for your remarks. Any questions? Okay, and the request is to change the decision and the outcome of the contest, correct?
Yes.
Do we have any motion from the commissioners?
I would move we leave the decision as it stands.
Okay, second?
Second.
Any comments from the public? Hearing none, can you take the vote?
Commissioner Hendrickson?
Aye.
Commissioner Gurrell?
Aye.
Commissioner Fiore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. DeMars?
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Villegas?
Aye.
Decision stands, sir.
Okay, the decision stands. Thank you very much, and thank you for giving the remarks and the overview. Appreciate that. Item number 5, update from the Specialty License Plate Subcommittee.
I can start, sir, if that's good. Sir, Commissioner Hendrickson and Commissioner Wetch and I had a stakeholder meeting on this topic with various stakeholders, and I would say that of the people that attended, probably 80 to 90% of the world's combat sports televised market was present at this particular stakeholder meeting, and I thought it was enthusiastic. The Ultimate Fighting Championship offered to assist in the drafting. Roy Engelbrecht assisted with the drafting. We have one from Roy that had came in. So there was a lot of positive feedback, and I think there was feedback in once this happens, once we submit the application, that the stakeholders be willing to help get the message out.
Yeah, I agree. It was a great meeting. No brainer that this is a great plan to have forth, and everyone's excited. So we're, in my opinion, full steam ahead.
Very good. Any questions from the commission? What's the timeline on getting this done?
Yes, sir. We're kind of in a whole pattern. The legislature ends on September the 14th, just on Thursday this week, and we're waiting to see how Assembly Bill 1136 fares. It's been moved for its third reading, maybe today, and if it passes, and then if the governor were to sign it, then we will submit the application on behalf of the commission once we get a design. Once the commissioners approve a design, and then at that point, we will work with DMV, and we'll have a certain number of period of time to get the license, the plates pre-registered. You got to buy. You have to have 7,500 of them pre-ordered before they'll make the plate. And I'm working with Consumer Affairs, who's been incredibly helpful to build us a website. So that with a specialty URL, so that people could go, so it's easy. They can go on, they can log, and they can register it. These are all plans, but each step,
Right.
got to get through each step first.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm excited about that. I'll order 3 as soon as I can. All right, let's continue, Andy, with your executive officer's report.
Okay, yes, sir. Let me just get there. Let me start with the budget update, sir, and I just want to take a little bit of time on this particular topic. The commission's first quarter fiscal year schedule has not been as active as it has in normal summers. We are down significantly from where we are normally at, and there's reasons for that. There is a shift going on in the television market, which I would be remiss if I did not bring this up to the commissioners, because this is what's happening. Showtime has merged with Paramount, and Showtime has historically been our biggest boxing customer with Tom Brown. So this is being merged, so we're seeing how this all plays out. What I can tell you is the Showtime shows are not back on the schedule yet, okay? As things normally happen, when this happens in the market will adjust, and we've had other people start to come into the market. Eddie Hearn from the UK has booked a November show and he's not formally put it on our calendar yet, but it's widely being reported in the press, and I was told for sure this morning that a December 9th fight is going to happen at the Chase Center in San Francisco. Okay, so that's a big fight. Bellator is also in these talks and there's a lot of talk about whether they're going to merge or whether they're going to be sold. There's talks about that. But we are running the big Bellator show on October the 7th with the 4 title fights. So there's shifts going on in the entertainment industry, along with Disney, with the ESPN. There's lots of things happening with the streaming and television market that's impacting our schedule. And until that works itself out, our schedule will. Now, I've been in touch with the budget office at the Consumer Affairs, and as of this morning, because I got it for this morning, the commission has $389,000 in the fund. Okay, because we had dipped almost below 200,000 during the height of the COVID and so we're coming back up, and I've talked with the department. Should the commission need either a section loan, or if there's a way that they can not bill us the distributed cost all at once because it's billed quarterly, I believe the commission will come out of this in the first quarter of next year, or be the third quarter of the fiscal year, starting in January, because I have on pretty good authority that we're going to get some pretty good fights that January, February, and March. Right now, we're still okay. And with that last fight that just hit, we probably will be okay. We've got WWE wrestling that's coming up, but I'm watching this closely. And I know this is a long dissertation, but it's very important. My primary job is to keep you guys informed on the budget. And I'm letting you know that we're a special fund, and I'm a little bit concerned, but I've already been speaking with the department way in advance. And there's tools that they can use to help us if we need it. We don't need it now. So that's my report on the support fund.
Any questions from the commission on the budget? And thank you, Andy. Don't apologize for giving us a thorough deep dive on the budget and making us aware, because we all know the punch that knocks you out is the one you don't see coming. And so it's very important that we are updated on the fluidity and are aware so that we can make the proper adjustments. Thank you for that report.
Okay, sir, the neurological fund, as of the date of this report, we deposited like $3,864 to the neurological fund. Interestingly enough, Frank Karuba from C3 sent an email this morning and asked if we would be willing to engage in some research based on the data that was provided. Of course, I'll defer to Dr. Williams on that, but the commission has the resources in that fund to do that, and that seems like exactly something that this commission would be trying to push forward. And I'd be supportive of that as long as Dr. Williams is supportive of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that the Medical Advisory Committee has been very interested in, something that we've talked about being able to access and mine a lot of the data we've been collecting for several years and continue to contribute to the fund of knowledge related to combat sports, safety in combat sports, performance, dehydration. It ties into all the things that we've been doing from a safety standpoint, and to be able to continue to lead the charge. California continues to lead the charge. I think that would be great if we could share the cost of some data analysts to help mine that data and begin to publish scientific papers related to what our findings are.
Thank you.
Okay, and then, sir, with the pension fund, the commission has deposited $8,318 to the pension fund this year. What I would point out to the commissioners, if you look at the pension distribution summary, as of September, the commission had deposited not deposited, but had given out $308,000 with another $58,000 pending. And we've just received quite a few more requests for the pension distribution. So I'm pretty confident. Last year was a record distribution for this commission in terms of money, and I believe this year we'll beat that distribution last year. This is in relation to a lot of the efforts that we've worked with, not to mention the work with the Mexican consulate and the Mexican government to find various folks, because a whole lot of these checks are going to down south.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. You know, this issue has been visible recently and prior, and I think our efforts to proactively find individuals who qualify for the pension has been very, very good. So thank you for that leadership. And Vice Chairman Dr. Williams, thank you for participating with the Mexican consulate and the WBC to further proactive our outreach to some of the participants who may be in our neighbors' country of Mexico. Appreciate that leadership.
And quickly to the regulations, we have the pension plan regulation. We have our new regulation council. He was in here. I don't know if he's still in here, but oh yeah, our new You want to come up and introduce yourself to the commissioners? Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Bong. I'm Regulation Counsel for the Commission.
Okay. And he's our new regulations counsel, and he's helping us with the pension plan and the dehydration and regulations, rehydration plan. Let me just take a moment to just stop right there on that dehydration, rehydration. This weekend, even though we're trying to make a regulation, it's for good policy. But I'm just getting this out there so it's in the public, so it's in the meeting minutes. I killed another fight this weekend. Okay, it was the main event, because the matchmakers still are not getting the memo that I can still do that. I have that authority, and we had one fighter on Saturday gain 21 pounds, and the other fighter lose 6 at 154. So that's not okay, especially when the weight gainer was the A side. And so made sure both fighters still got paid, but that's not okay. And it will be good once this regulation's in place, so we have something that's more solid other than just my discretion to look at these fights. But the weight gain and the weight rehydration problem continues to plague combat sports in general all across this country. And it's usually not a big deal when they both gain back. But we're starting to see more of this where one person's gaining a whole lot and the other person doesn't gain anything. Or in this case, I've never seen one lose 6 pounds that they lost, which tells me that they were drinking and eating to make the 154 contract. They were trying to get there, being the spread.
Thank you for that, Andy. I think, for California, we pride ourselves on setting the bar for safety, not only between the two combats, but for individuals. I mean, our everybody here can attest to just the impact of that dramatic change and what that does to the body. So we'll continue to send the message to anyone that wants to participate in California. We have guidelines, we have standards that we will stand by. So thank you for that, Andy.
Thank you. Sir, just quickly from the ABC meeting this year, the 35th Annual Association of Boxing Commissions Conference. As the commissioners know, I chair the Association of Boxing Commissions Mixed Martial Arts Rules Committee and the Mixed Martial Arts Training Committee. And there were three procedures that were added to the unified rules, not actual rule changes, but procedures. And I think the commissioners will think all three of these are really good procedures. It's utilizing a cut man after a foul during a round. So if you have an unintentional foul, headbutt, we're going to start the 5-minute clock, which had kind of already been a rule from last year, or a procedure. But we're going to let the cut man come in and try to fix it during that 5-minute break. So that's the first change. Standing fighters from the down position are breaking fights while they're pinning in cage. This is something that's already happening. We just decided to put it in writing. The referee shall either stand or break a fighter when neither fighter is able to or fails to demonstrate real, significant, or sustained effort to advance towards finishing the fight by any method. Simply maintaining what may be perceived as a superior position will not be considered effort to advance towards finishing the fight, nor grounds for a guaranteed opportunity to maintain that position. Essentially, if you get an advantageous position, you need to try to score at that point. Simply holding the position is not going to work. You need to score. And then the eye-poke evaluation is probably the most significant of these changes, because this happens so frequently. And we've looked at the gloves for mixed martial arts for years and years and years and years. I don't know how you can close the fingers in and still be able to grab. So you're going to have eye pokes. It's going to happen. And how we choose to address those eye pokes is important. So last year we went ahead and gave the 5 minutes just like a low blow for an unintentional eye poke. Now what we're going to do, obviously this is on a case-by-case basis, but this is like a training situation. A lot of times when you're eye poked, your eye is, you're down like this, you're holding it, the fighters are, we're going to let the cold press come in. It's just a towel. The towel's going to be able to, it's water, it's a wet towel. We'll let them put it on. Whether that's psychological or that really helps, I don't know, but that seems like that's reasonable. The fighters seem to like that. Okay? And before we bring the doctor immediately in, unless there's a super damaging thing, the doctor can come in. What we're talking about is we're not going to shine that light directly in the eye of the damaged fighter and ask them if they can see until a little bit of time is given. Because what's happening is the eye is seizing up when you ask, and then they say, no, I can't see, and then the fight's over. That's what's happening. And we're trying to change that. So since we've got the 5 minutes, let's use a little bit of it. We're not talking about a ruptured globe or anything. I'm talking about just an eye poke. Because a lot of times if you'll give a fighter a minute or two, they'll be able to see again. And so I feel like that's a pretty good common sense change. Doctors were on board. Everybody was on board. And to me, this is just a training issue on how to deal with it. Those were the 3 changes.
Any questions on the 3 changes from the commission? Andy, so on the 3 changes, when will the participants be? On the 3 changes, when will the participants be notified of the new process?
Okay, sir, it's been widely publicized in the media. So a lot of the fighters are already talking about it, but they'll be notified at the rules meeting by the referees.
And then when the referee goes in for pre-fight instructions, will they also remind the participants?
Yes, sir, we'll
Okay.
have that done.
Good.
Now, sir, we have our status update from our delegated entities that the commission delegates its authority to for amateur sports. JT Steele from CAMO is first. That's the Mixed Martial Arts Organization.
Good morning. Great
Good morning,
to be here in
JT.
Sacramento. Just
love to answer any questions from our report. I'll give you a couple little highlights. We've had a pretty busy summer. Grateful for that. We've particularly had a lot of training. And I wanted to just kind of highlight that we've been trying to make a concerted effort to train with CSAC. And I'm grateful for Andy Foster, as well as Mark Relier, who has been very welcoming to bringing the camo inspectors to train together. And obviously, you can get feedback from them as well, but from our point of view, I think it's been not only a great way to build camaraderie between the aspiring inspectors and officials and the CSAC officials, but it's the level of training and learning that's been going on has been fantastic. We appreciate the instruction. It's really been what I would call world-class, and I really wouldn't expect anything less. So appreciate that, Andy. To date, I think we are now we've had 4 different training events and a 5th coming up. We had quite a few inspectors actually attend the ABC convention in Nevada, and that was a great thing to see. The Association of Boxing convention had an inspector training for the first time. And surprisingly, camo inspectors were in attendance there. They made for amateur inspectors to make that trip to Nevada to be part of that it's pretty impressive and definitely demonstrates a level of commitment to the sport that is exciting for everybody to see. Wanted to also, every once in a while, like to bring to your attention maybe a prospect watch, somebody who is organic from California, and that's Tatiana Suarez. Keep your eye out for Tatiana Suarez. She is kind of following in this great pedigree of female fighters that California has put into the UFC, obviously starting with none other than Ronda Rousey, who started it all for us. But it has paved the way for many other great female athletes to come from California. It's fascinating to watch how one great fighter can raise the tide for all ships, and it's certainly elevated female MMA in California above and beyond anything else in the country. Tatiana now, I think her combined record, amateur and pro, is at like 15-0, and I think she's 7-0 in the UFC. So you should probably see her in a title fight any day. She fights at 125 pounds, and she's a California native, came from our amateur program, so keep your eye out for Tatiana Suarez. She's certainly representing the state of California and our commission very, very well.
Where's she from in California?
She was from Rancho Cucamonga.
Oh, Rancho Cucamonga is the greatest city in California. That's where I live, so.
So I don't know if you knew the answer to that question already. But
I didn't know, really.
Yeah,
Good to know.
she actually started her career training out of Millennia MMA, which is just right there in Rancho Cucamonga, produced many awesome fighters.
Very good.
So that's been fun to watch her. We've got many great events coming up on the horizon. But is there any feedback or questions or comments on behalf of the commission?
Just congratulate Tatiana and doing well. We'll keep an eye on her.
Yeah, keep your eye on her. We'll definitely pass the message along, but thank you for everything that you do in supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you, JT.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Mike McAtee from USA Boxing is next. He runs the USA Boxing for the country out of Colorado Springs. He's in to talk with the commission.
Welcome, Mike.
Good morning, Commissioner, and thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here. I'd like to point out just a couple of things on our report. We're very proud of it. Again, California being one of our busiest markets. As most of you know, that we have 56 LBCs, or local boxing committees. 4 of those are here in the state of California. Generally, Southern Cal is our busiest LBC in the country. Right now, they're a little bit behind South Texas, so they're having a little bit of a LBC competition when it comes to membership. One of the things that we wanted to point out in our Q2 report to you all, we had 958 bouts in the state of California during quarter 2. We had 4 reported injuries, 1 dislocated shoulder and 3 possible concussions, which results in a 0.41% injury rate when it becomes, when you look at our boxers. So we're very proud of it. One of the things, we count by pouts, not by boxers. So essentially, you could double 958 times 2 as potential people to be injured. So 4 injuries out of almost 1,000 bouts, I think, is a credit to our LBCs, our officials, our coaches, and our boxers. And then also, you know, the regulations that CSAC has on us, it reminds people that we are accountable and we need to do the right thing to keep our boxers safe. So we're very excited about that. We'd like that number to be 0, but 4, I think, is an acceptable number with that many bouts. The other thing is we had our Junior Olympics and Summer Festival in Texas. We had over 1,000 boxers, 842 coaches, and 80 officials. Of those, 157 boxers from the state of California, 126 coaches, and 8 officials. So significant representation. Would like to draw attention, though, probably more importantly, as TJ talks about, of people to watch. Of those boxers that participated, there were 25 national champions from the state of California, and their names are listed in our report. Also, during the quarter, we had 3 officials clinics. We do require our officials to have in-person clinics with online updates, so that was conducted. And again, as boxing goes and participating at the ABC conference also, one of the things that we made note of in that report, last year USA Boxing had over 24,000 bouts nationwide. And again, California is one of our busiest. One of the things that we brought up, and Andy utilizes this, or Mr. Foster utilizes this, and we do track every single bout. And in our system, we have over 160,000 bouts since we started collecting that data dating back to 2015, which is accessible to not only the state of California, but every state boxing commission. So the shout out to CSAC, because that was one of the things my predecessor, Mike Martino, was challenged by the commission to be able to do that. And I think most of you have an idea that in USA Boxing, bouts are in a passbook that travels around with you, but now that's automated. Everything is put in. We're about 99% when it comes to compliance of all our LBCs about tracking bout results. And again, what that does gives us an opportunity to track injuries, medical suspensions of boxers, and then also to look back when it has potential, a boxer that has been stopped or referee stops contest or knocked out, that we're able to view that history. And then sometimes our doctor's commission will recommend that a boxer be retired. And so we're able to track that. Is there any questions about our second quarter report?
Well, I have a question. My doctorate's in applied statistics, so you immediately made me think. You have 160,000 bout records. Are you analyzing that for things like what are factors that predict injury? Because when Andy was talking about the dehydration, rehydration, I know years ago in judo they did a study and found that there were 2 significant factors in injury, and one was poor equipment, like the mats came apart, and the other was too big a disparity in size. But is your organization working on analyzing that in some way? We
do use that data. For like our national championships, one of the things, or qualifying events, we have minimum bout requirements, but we also use winning percentage to be able to determine if a boxer could be competitive or allowing that in. When it comes to dehydration, USA Boxing requires all boxers to weigh in the day they compete. So we don't have those big influxes. One of the things that we are using when it comes to weight management, what we're seeing with younger boxers, especially at our national events is because there is zero weight allowance, and our scale is calibrated to be able to actually count pieces of paper. It's that accurate. We are looking at a system that if a boxer, especially someone under the age of 18, doesn't cut weight, and that will have a look back. So if you have a boxer that boxes 1 month at 100 pounds, 105 the next month, 106 a couple weeks later, and then tries to box at our national tournament at a 95-pound weight class, the system won't allow that. So what we're trying to do is to analyze weight, especially in young people, that as they're growing, because traditionally in boxing and in combat sports, the mentality is the smaller the better. But over a week's time, it actually hurts the boxer. So that is one of the big things we are doing right now with our computer system to be able to do the look back to when it comes to weight management. Would also like to, just real quick, last week we had our junior female boxers. We had approximately 30 of them training down in Chula Vista. And this week, I believe we have over 60 young male boxers that are in Chula Vista, be a training camp down there for this week. So we'll be there for 2 weeks, which was really popular last year. And as part of our funding from the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, we are getting more resources to be able to have more training camps down in Chula Vista, which is great for us, exposure because of what we have here as quite a few boxers, but then also we're bringing boxers from all over the country down to Chula Vista. Any questions about that or anything? I would like to make a note, and this is outside my report, but I wanted to bring it to the Commission's attention. USA Boxing sent a letter to Mr. Foster last week in regards to IKF and its subgroup, Point Boxing Sparring Circuit, requesting that CSAC investigate the entity. And I know this is probably doesn't happen much that one delegated association requests an investigation of another. However, the subgroup of IKF, this Point Boxing Sparring Circuit, is conducting boxing events in the state of California. They've also did them in Colorado and attempted to do it in Nevada. And I just want to make the point, as a delegated entity on March 17, 2014, CSAC recognized or delegated authority to IKF for amateur kickboxing and Muay Thai. And now they're doing boxing. I've submitted my information, and my request would be that it be looked into. They are not requiring physicals. They're not requiring ambulances. There is no regulation on the equipment that is being used. And the individuals who is running the program has said, that this is sparring. And I can tell you, and I started boxing when I was 12 years old. I boxed for about 9 years. Then I trained amateur and professional boxers. I sold boxing equipment. And I've been the executive director of USA Boxing now going on 7 years. And I can probably look at every competitor or boxer coach that would say every time you sparred in the thousands of rounds that I have witnessed or participated in, you've never been given an award. However, this group is calling their sparrers competitors. They're making decisions, and they're getting awards. So my request would be that this is circumventing CSAC safety rules. Also, it's unregulated and outside the scope which was granted by CSAC. And my letter was sent to Mr. Foster at that time. I do not believe it's part of this, my quarterly report. However, I did submit that and bringing it to your attention.
Mike, as we discussed, I'm looking into it.
Thank
So,
you.
I'll keep the commissioners updated on this.
That is all I have, Chairman.
Thank you, Mike. Andy, just on, so we're aware, IKF is regulated for other combat sports, but not boxing. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, next, we have, from the United States Fight League, John Frank resigned, as you all know from the email, and I'm pleased to announce that Joe Stevenson has taken over that role. Joe was a well represented, everybody knows him in California. He's been around for a long, long time, runs one of the most successful gyms in California called Cobra Kai out of Victorville. So Joe, if you want to give your report, pleased to be working with Joe Stevenson, who's very accomplished.
Welcome, Joe.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. The report and the numbers for like how the kids did at Worlds was very impressive. We now actually have more. It's more than just California. We've got Texas, and California's still doing a great job of leading the way. We had no injuries this last quarter. We had one discrepancy. If you saw the report that was turned in, the Dan Henderson Fight Night had one extra youth bout on it. And so there was not an injury or anything. It just wasn't reported on that report. So I wanted to add that now, if that would be okay, and answer any questions about the team. We took second at Worlds. We are either like first, second, or third. California is a big part of that, but the rest of the country is now starting to step up. And I think our next goal would be to help our junior team, because our senior team does really good. Our junior team would be the ages between 18 and 20, but that technically isn't youth. So I'm just throwing that out there to you guys.
Any questions for Joe?
I can give you guys a brief outline too. I've been fighting professionally 25 years. Started at 16 years old, fought a few people in the UFC while in high school, and currently am the coaching director for the U.S. too.
Very nice. Well, congratulations on your new role, and we look forward to working with you. What high school did you go to, Joe?
Silverado High School in Victorville.
Okay. I went to Apple Valley. I think we beat Silverado
You did.
numerous times, so I apologize if
That happens.
anything else, Joe?
No. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, the commission's kickboxing delegate, IKF, Tony Fossum, is here to give that report.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So you have the report in front of you. Just going to give you a few brief highlights. You can see our statistics on how many events we had, where they were located, the number of bouts, decisions, any TKOs, and medical suspensions there. I did want to comment, September, after our report had to be turned in, we've already had 2 events this month. Both of those happen to be in Sacramento. Both of those shows actually sold out their venues, which was very exciting. They both had 17 bouts each, and happy to say 0 transports on both of those events as well. And actually, throughout this whole entire report, the whole entire last quarter, we had 0 transports. So our officials are doing a wonderful job making sure that the safety of our fighters is priority and paramount. So some of the highlights, we also have had 3 training sessions, 2 of those in Southern California, 1 in Northern California. The education of our officials is ongoing. We also have introduced a training for our ringside physicians that is actually overseen by a very well-seasoned CSAC ringside physician as well. So the communication between the doctors and our officials in the ring is becoming more and more clear, which of course enhances the quickness of response time, therefore helping the safety of the fighters as well. We have a new IKF platform. It actually is a revised platform. It was something that was started and utilized by the ABC many years ago. So we have brought back the platform, so now we are creating a national digital database, which is making it easier for all commissions to be able to have access to our record keeping. So fighter records, most importantly, fighter suspensions, because we take our suspensions very seriously and want to have those available to not only commissions, but other sanctioning bodies across the board, because a lot of our fighters do cross over. Some do 2 or 3 different combat sports, and we feel that it's really important for other organizations to be aware of any suspensions that are happening, because what we don't want to have happen is somebody get a medical suspension on one of our shows, and then a couple of weeks later go and fight in an MMA show or a boxing show, and they're not aware of that. So the platform is doing wonderful things there. We just launched it in April, but we already have thousands of fighters that are registered on there, and you can see all of their statistics. It also is unique in the fact that we can actually update the results of our events in real time. So for example, these 2 events that happened in Sacramento over the last 2 weeks, our representatives will sit ringside, and as the decisions are occurring, they enter it on the database, and within seconds, you can see in real time what happened, the suspensions are listed and everything. So it's accessible to everybody, so the fans in the crowd even can go and immediately see. Or if family members can't make the event, they're sitting at home but want to know what's happening, they'll know what bout that particular event is on, what the results were, and so on. So it's, I would encourage you all to, when you have time, just go and take a look at that. And right now, it's covering events all throughout the United States, not just California. So, and we're working on getting it to all of our international events too, so Ireland, Mexico, the UK, Canada, so forth. And then there was a question before one of the previous meetings about gender breakdown. So I took a quick look at our California fighters only. And in the state of California, the female fighters make up 16.5% of our current registered fighters. We do get new registrations every single weekend, so that number will continue to go up as more fighters register, female fighters. But you'll see on here too, we actually have an event coming up that is predominantly a female card. We have 2 promoters in our state that promote either all female cards or predominantly. And this one is coming up on September 27th. It's down in Commerce, California. I have spoken with the promoter, and we wanted to extend an invitation to all of you commissioners just to actually come out and just be entertained and enjoy the wonderful fights that we have there. So.
27th is a Wednesday, that's correct?
No, well, it should be a Saturday, so maybe I made a typo on there. I'll have to look.
Yeah, September 30th is a Saturday.
No, October, maybe it was October 27th, sorry.
October 27th is Friday.
Okay, never mind. Okay, I'll send you the date then. There must have been a typo on this, so. But I still want to, I don't have my phone with me. I'll look it up and let you know by the end of the meeting what that date is. Let's see, just a few more highlights then. We have had some really unique and creative shows that have just happened this last quarter. Muay Thai is really making a very strong comeback in the state, especially after being shut down from COVID. And with the comeback and the insurgence of fighters and new promoters coming on, I think that they are coming up with more unique ways to entice people to come to their shows. We recently had a show called Battle on the Battleship, and it was actually a Muay Thai event that was held at the USS Iowa down in Southern California. That was a wonderful event, very unique setting, and of course, honored military there as well.
Was that in San Pedro?
Yes, exactly. And then with this insurgents too, not only, of course, do we have an uptick in registered fighters in California, but we've also been attracting fighters from other states, the close-by states being Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Oregon, Washington. But we're also seeing an increased number of fighters coming from Mexico and Canada on a regular basis. So they're participating in more and more of our events, of course, then bolstering the economy in California too with these. So just wanted to make a note of that. I think that's all the highlights I have for our report. And I'm happy to answer any questions about this, and I can certainly address at least a portion of USA Boxing's letter if you would like.
Any questions? I have no questions.
No questions?
Thank you, Tony.
Okay.
And congratulations on the continued improvements of the league, and get us the dates of the gathering so that we can, for those that have availability, support them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, I noticed that both IKF and USA Boxing included gender breakdown. I usually don't have any trouble being heard. I noticed that both IKF and USA Boxing included some information on gender breakdowns, and I know I asked for that when I got on the commission, so I really appreciate you doing it, because I do believe that what gets measured gets done, so it's helpful to know the gender distribution. It's helpful to know about Ms. Suarez, who I already knew, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Andy?
Okay, sir, we have I want to just go over the staffing update quickly with you, sir, and with the commissioners. We're operating still very lean compared to pre-COVID. We have one associate government program analyst, 2 staff service analysts, the chief inspector, who you all know, Mark Rollier, assistant chief inspector, Sean Wells, and Assistant Executive Officer Patricia Blackstock. And it's very rare that the commissioners all gather in Sacramento. It's been several years. And since you are all here, I thought it would be a good idea to have the staff introduce themselves to each of you, maybe for 1 minute, give you a quick bio. Patricia, if you'd like to start, and I'll just move from there.
Hi, my name is Patricia Blackstock. I'm the Assistant Executive Officer for the Commission. Prior to coming to California, I met Andy through the Association Boxing Commissions Conference, where I was the Chief Inspector for the Arkansas Commission, and then became the Director of the Arkansas Commission, and then an opening came in California, and I've known Andy for over 10 years. And I applied and accepted the job as the Associate Governmental Program Analyst in California, and I was in that position for a little over 3 years. And then when Sophia accepted a position at the Structural Pest Control Board, I applied for her job as the AEO and was accepted and awarded that job. That's me.
Thank you, Patricia. Lee Palmer, if you want to come forward. Is Lee here? Okay, we'll go with Claudia, if you want to come forward and speak. This is Claudia Ron. She's one of the Commission staff service analysts. She creates the packets and deals with the promoters, and she has signed promoters. You have, I'm trying to think off my head, I think you've got Matchroom. I'm trying to think of the big ones that she's assigned. Bellator. Yeah, each one of the analysts are assigned various large promotions so that the point of contact doesn't have to scramble with the different person. This is relationship-based industry, and Claudia works with various ones.
Yeah, so my name is Claudia Ron. I work at the commission office, another one of the SSAs there in the office. I do events, like Andy said, I work with Bellator. Matchroom hasn't come through in a while, so I haven't worked with them yet, but they are assigned to me. And I also do the purchasing and the contracts for the office. That's me.
Thank you, Claudia. Now, Lee, I saw Lee come back in. Lee Palmer is the Associate Government Program Analyst, so there's levels to these positions for the commissioners, like Patricia's the office manager. Lee, if you want to come forward and introduce yourself. Lee is an AGPA is like the next highest level. Lee, just give a short bio of yourself.
Good morning. I'm Lee Palmer. I've been with the commission 10 years now. Formerly before that, I was with Andy in Georgia, so I've been actually under him for 14 years now. I started off as his intern and grew into position, grew to love the sport, and moved to California. As AGPA, I deal with shows, I deal with enforcement issues, also liaison for the amateur delegates if there's concerns or issues that I need to route to Andy and Patricia. I work with them on that, and I work closely with promoters and their venues and fighters. I usually keep a good rapport with fighters on issues and concerns dealing with that. Also deal with fighters that have dehydration issues. I usually do the FaceTime calls with them to make sure that they're on par with what they need to do. And if I see an issue, I reflect that back to Tricia and Andy, and then we go from there.
And Lee has Golden Boy. That's his biggest promotion, which keeps him quite busy.
Yes.
So thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
The commission's newest hire, which started last week, I believe it was last week. Monique, if you want to come forward, she's our newest hire. And this is Monique Azar, and she is a staff service analyst with the commission, and she's not been assigned promoters just yet, but she's getting them.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monique. I am the new staff service analyst, as Andy said. This is my second week, and I'm currently training under Claudia and Patricia, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm working on the Tuscany event, and I'm excited to be here. I'm very nervous as well, so forgive me. It's been a while since I've introduced myself.
That is everyone, sir.
Let me just say on behalf of the commission, thank you, all of you, for what you do. This is a terrific staff. Thank you for managing Andy and keeping up with Andy. And, when we say we're the best commission in the country, which we are, you all play an important part in that. So thank you very, very much for all you do. For those that don't know, when these events happen, it's just not the day of the event. It takes so much time and energy leading up to the event and even afterwards. There's still work to do. This is nonstop, and especially in the state of California. So it's great to meet all of you in person, and thank you for what you do on behalf of the commission. And I'd also like to welcome Ken Swenson back. Welcome back, Ken. Glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm glad to be back.
Good.
And to be here.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for introducing the team.
Thank you.
Andy.
Thank you, sir. Sir, next on my report's the event schedule, and I just want to kind of, when I mentioned before about the budget, the budget issues are not related to the number of shows. It's related to the number of large televised events, which incorporates a lot of the commission's budget. The commission has been very busy with shows, as you can see from your schedule. And I would just like to point out a few that the commissioners make. Of course, the commissioners can attend any one that they would like, but the October 7th show in San Diego at the Pechanga Arena from Bellator, that fight has 4 title fights on it. I've never saw a Bellator with 4 title fights on it, so that's a special show. Alexis Rocha, I believe, is back at Golden Boy at the Forum in Inglewood on the 21st. That's going to be a title fight. Since we have Northern Commissioners, I wanted to just point out, we have the Cow Palace back on November the 4th. West Side Boxing's trying, they're going to be out there again. Eddie Herm with Matchroom is bringing a fight to the YouTube Theater. That's at the SoFi Stadium on November the 18th. And then, like I said, it's not on our calendar just yet, but December 9th, I have reason to believe that Regis Progress is going to fight Devin Haney at the Chase Center in San Francisco. It's being widely reported in the media. That is the events that I would recommend. Of course, if you're in Orange County, Roy Engelbrecht's events are always incredibly well-attended. They're always sold out, and they're always fun, and they're always a good event to go to. So if you have any questions about the schedule, and if you'd like to come to any of these events, just please let me or the staff know. I mean, if you just show up, you will be able to come anyway, but I could get parking for you and the whole thing like that in advance. So that's our event schedule, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andy, and thank you for your report. Any questions for my fellow commissioners on Andy's report? Hearing none, we are going to edit the agenda.
Mr. Chair, what I recommend is you trail item 7, the strategic planning item, and advance item 8, public comments.
Oh, gotcha.
Number 9, closed session, and then return to item 7 after the completion of the closed session.
Okay, thank you. Welcome back. Everybody plays an important role here with the commission. Okay, so we're going to open it up for public comment for items that are not on the agenda. Patricia, do we have anybody either in person or online?
I don't have anybody online, but Tony wanted to give a public comment.
I just wanted to clarify, September 23rd is the event at Commerce Casino, Big Troy Productions. Okay, so if any of you are actually interested and you would love to go, you will be our guest. Just let me know and I'll make arrangements for that.
Thank you, Tony.
I see no public comments.
Okay, hearing none. Now we will go into closed session.
So the commission will retire into closed session. At this time, we ask that all individuals who are not commission members, the assistant executive officer, the regulations counsel, or Mr. Foster leave the room, and we'll retire into closed session.
Thank you.